What's up, guys? So, I had a really big weekend. On Saturday, I was in Chicago for Aquashella, and I had to leave Chicago to do this on Sunday morning. So, my friend Rico is moving in a gigantic aquarium. If you didn't already know, Rico used to have one of the nicest tanks that I've ever seen. It was a 300 deep dimension jam-packed with SPS, and I think that most people would strive to one day have a tank this nice. But clearly, somebody out there doesn't think this is good enough. This guy right here. He needs an even bigger one. He's been in the process of taking that entire tank down, emptying it, getting it out of that space, and now today is the big day to accept delivery of this new giant tank. It measures 8 feet by 4 feet, and I'm not 100% sure on the height. It's something like 28 or 30 inches high, which is kind of like a maintenance nightmare for me. But I mean, for a show tank, that additional height is a very dramatic appearance. And on a tank this size, it's gonna be a big peninsula display. It's gonna look incredible once it is finally installed. And boy, this was a learning experience on how to move a big tank. I don't think that there are that many experts when it comes to moving something this large, and unfortunately, you just need to have good people and kind of like figure it out as you go, because this giant tank, remember, 8 feet by 4 feet by over 2 feet, has to get through this tiny doorway. And this thing, I don't even know how much it weighs. Over 1,000 pounds probably. It's all 3/4 inch glass. The top of it is double Euro braced. And to give you an idea about how much double Euro bracing a tank of this size is, just going back one step, the reason why they double Euro braced it is so that they wouldn't have to put in a center brace at all. To give you an idea of just how big that is, they had to use 10 tubes of black silicone to seal that down. 10, just for the top. So you kind of have an idea of what kind of mass that you're working with. How do you even get it down? Well, that's one of those things that we just had to figure out. And a lot of it just has to do with strapping it up and basically attaching it to a winch from a vehicle and slowly lowering it down the stairs. And that's where things get kind of weird. I was brought on just to do the filming. I was like, look, guys, my lifting days are over, but I will be happy to film for you. You know how that goes. You're never not gonna get recruited to start lifting. So, anyway, long story short, I tried to get into better filming position by going down the stairs, and it's just me and Rico down in the basement waiting for them to lower this tank down, kind of like on a wooden sled down the carpeted steps. And everything is going fine until the second to the last step. This sled just gets jammed right there. The tank is so heavy that the winch and the vehicle can't drag it back up the steps. There's no other way to get out of this basement other than through this tank. So either the tank comes downstairs and we continue installing it, or I don't get out of this basement. There's like no windows big enough for me to climb out of. There's nothing. So like there's this gigantic sarcophagus of glass preventing me from getting up this staircase now. So it's just me and Rico down there. And somehow we have to figure out how to dislodge basically 1,000 pounds all concentrated against a carpeted step and not have it kill us. So it's like Apollo 13, you know, you're trying to like just look around this basement to find anything that like, how do we even dislodge? We don't have tools down here, you know, this is bad, right? I was supposed to just be, again, I'm just supposed to be the guy shooting the camera down here, right? So anyway, we're looking around and we found one crowbar that might have been big enough, I don't know, pry it up slightly if we put enough effort into it, but it's at an awkward place, it's at an awkward angle. And Rico was actually able to get down there and put enough heft on it that he was able to barely dislodge that tank that was stuck on that step. And then he blows out his back. Like, he's had back trouble for a while now. His back is completely shot. He's like, I need morphine right now. This is bad. I'm going to be in the hospital tonight. And he's just like huffing and puffing in the corner, trying not to pass out. And I'm like, oh, that just leaves me. And worse yet, he did successfully dislodge this tank now. But then when his back blew out, this crowbar is now jammed into the step. This whole tank is now leaning on this, well, the sled, I should say, of the tank is now leaning on this step. And I'm the last line of defense. So I have to like reach in there and violently pull out this crowbar any way that I can, in any direction I can. Thank goodness I don't have this on video because I don't even want to describe it. This is one of those times where it's like, if something goes wrong, I am super dead. Clearly, this is not how you want to be doing this. But we made it work. We got the tank out of there, down the steps, finally. We eventually got it onto its stand. But boy, there were some scary moments. And as an aside, so I had to tell that whole story to the rest of this team that was like working on the driveway side of things. So Rico's wife, Jamie, was like, see, Fan literally risked his life for your aquarium. And Rico was just sitting there and he's like, yeah, and I would have done the same for him. And I'm thinking, but I actually did it. That's the big difference. There's no hypotheticals here. I actually did it. Anyway, I'm just glad that this tank got moved in. We made it work, people. We made it work. Once Rico recovers from that broken back of his, I'm sure that we can look forward to future updates on his channel. He is obviously looking to outdo his last effort, which was spectacular. I gotta say, it's one of those things where more preparation obviously is better. I mean, who really does this sort of thing on a regular basis to get something this large and heavy down a narrow staircase, you know? If there are people that know how to do this stuff really well, by all means, please share your constructive comments below, because there's not a lot of resources to do this, and any real insight into this I think could help a lot of people once they get their dream aquarium. Now, I'm gonna be getting about 10 aquariums this size or larger, and I'm like, shoot, if my install in comparison to this is looking real easy now. But boy, this is a scary one. Luckily, this all turned out well at the end. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Rico does with everything. I get to go back and work on my stuff now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. You got something out of what it takes to move really, 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 really big tanks. Not that fun really. And again, I have much more of this sort of thing to look forward to in my build, but no stairs. So there's that. Anyways, that's all from here. Hope you all have a great time. Hope you're all doing well with your tanks. Happy reefing.